Okay, so the new year has just come and it has only been about a week at the time that I'm recording this that the new year has come in, officially being 2026. There is something that you need to do this 2026. Now, let me say this. You should be doing this all the time. This shouldn't be like a new year thing. This should be a consistent thing we're all doing. But what I will say is that with it being a new year, it is a great motivator for you to begin, and that is working on yourself. Working on yourself, and specifically working on the areas not that people are telling you that you should work on, but on the areas that you see are important that you work on. There can be a lot of issues in our lives. There can be a lot of things that we are struggling with in our lives, but there are also some things that are within our control. And those are the things that we are going to be focusing on, not the things that we have to have somebody else do, not the things that we have no control over, not the things that someone else has a decision over, but rather the things that we can clearly see that our actions directly impact. Now, there are a few steps to actually making this happen. We are not going based off of a wish, a dream, and a hope. You are actually going to be taking actionable steps in order to make a difference in your own life. So the first thing is identification. You want to write down what you have control over and what you do not have control over. And these are specifically going to be the things in your life that you are unhappy with, that you're dissatisfied with, that you've been wanting to grow in, and things that you just generally want to see change. Not everything has to be something that you are low down and sad about. It doesn't always have to be something that is going terribly wrong, but even something that could be a preventative measure for something that could go wrong in the future. Now that you have your list of things that you can work on, things that need to be worked on, and that you have the ability to work on, start researching what actually needs to be done and what steps that you are going to want to take. Because you can have one problem and there can be 1,000 solutions to that one problem. You can be on social media and one person says this works, one other person says something else works, and they're both contradicting each other. So don't look at it as I have to find the secret key to my problem. Look at it as I need to find what's going to best work for me, and that is going to be the key. You're not here trying to look for the perfect solution. So don't get caught up in that, because it can be very easy to be like, okay, I have this problem. I know that I can fix it. I know that it's within my ability, but I have to find what looks the most aesthetic. I have to find what seems like the most popular. I have to find what seems like the perfect solution to this problem. And I would say that I don't believe that there is necessarily a perfect solution. Like, people can give you a solution to your problem and you still have to make adjustments to fit it towards you. Don't get caught up in all of that though. Don't get caught up in the process being perfect. Don't get caught up in things going exactly as planned. Don't get caught up in going in the path with the most agreement. Rather, focus on what's going to get you to where you want to be, what's going to create the most solutions to your problems, what's going to direct you in the right path. Focus on that. It is so easy to focus on what other people are saying is right, rather than what you feel is going to be best to solve your own problem. And be creative. Not all the time are you going to find your direct solution on social media. Not all the time is someone sharing their story about how they solved it. Not all the time are there going to be people around you who can necessarily completely relate or even closely relate. There are some things in life where you just have to figure it out. You have to be creative. You have to think for yourself and be willing to try something that maybe people around you haven't tried before. And that can be scary. You could feel like you don't want to waste your time, and you could feel like you don't want to waste your resources or the fear of failure or whatever it may be. But you have to definitely shift your focus onto, you know what, I'm trying something new. It's okay. I'm trying a new way of life. That's okay. And this is your life, which means that you're going to need personalized solutions for your own situations, for your own problems, for your own things that you are wanting to change. And that is also a beautiful thing, to be able to think about solutions for yourself. Now, I also will say you don't need to necessarily reinvent the wheel. If there's something that works, then use it. If there's something that someone knows is going to work for you, then try it out. Don't overthink it, don't stress it, and don't make it more complicated than it has to be. Now that you have gotten this far, you actually want to create plans, steps for how you are going to make it happen. Within the new year, according to the research that I have done, most people give up on their goals by the second Friday of the new year. We're not doing that this year, okay? We are going to actually create steps and plans that are going to be reasonable for us, that we are going to see through to the end. With working on yourself, create a reasonable plan, a reasonable set of steps for yourself that you will be able to follow in the long run. Sometimes people go very extreme. I have been one of those people who are like, okay, I'm excited, I'm hyped up, I have all this new energy, all this new motivation, I'm gonna go all in. And you go all in, and then you get exhausted really quickly. You get burnt out really quickly, and it's not something that you can maintain. You want to create something that you can maintain. Maintenance is so important. And within your maintenance routine, create a routine of encouragement. Create a routine of motivation. This can look very different for different people, and it can show up in different ways. One is having a friend group. If you have a friend group where you're constantly able to encourage each other, because again, we talked about this maintenance, but at the same time, it is great to have a means of feeling encouraged and a means of keeping you on the right track and keeping you going. So having that friend group that you can talk to is really great. Now, not everyone has that friend group. Not everyone has those people who have the same goals as them. I would recommend the people who are pulling you down, because that's the opposite of what you're wanting to happen. Be careful of those people. Keep distance when it comes to your dreams with those people. Attempt to create those friendships with folks that are going to have those same visions, have those same dreams, where you can talk to each other, uplift each other, push each other towards better, push each other towards those goals that you want to accomplish. But this is also not the only way. Journaling and talking to yourself can really help encourage yourself. Of course, there are the common things like affirmations and, repetition, which I as well have a video specifically about those things if you need a little bit more explaining with that. But another way is watching videos like the ones on my channel or ones on other people's channels, where they can give you direct motivation for the exact things that you are struggling with. Sometimes just because you don't have somebody physically there, or you don't have somebody who can directly understand, doesn't mean there's no one out there. Finding people on social media can be used as a beneficial tool to be able to get in contact and watch people who are going to encourage you, that are going to give you words of wisdom, that are going to keep you on track. And I think this next thing is very important. Sometimes it goes over people's heads. It's not something that okay, let me back up. It's something that when I heard this really was like, whoa moment for me. And that's, don't take advice from people who you wouldn't want to switch lives with. If there is somebody who's not doing what you're wanting to do, don't get advice from them. Now, here's the thing. It may seem obvious, but in action, it can be more subtle. It could be someone who is successful, but their success is different than the success that you want to achieve. Or maybe your level of success that you want to achieve is higher than their success. And maybe they have happiness from one area, but you want to receive happiness from a different area. Just different things like that, success in one area versus success in a different area. And they seem like a good person to go to, or maybe they talk to you and make it seem like to you that they're a good person to communicate with. And due to that, you start to listen to certain things that they have to say, and it can be very subtle negative things that they are saying, or subtle ways that they're saying, no, don't do that, do this instead. And I do believe that it's good to get advice. It's good to have differing opinions sometimes. But if you know that this is a certain area that you want to go down, if you know that this is something that you want, and this person is pulling you away from that, and this person is discouraging you in that, then that is something completely different than guidance and constructive criticism. There's levels to it. So definitely be aware, because you could be getting this information from people that's pulling you away from your goals, from your dreams, from your achievements, from doing better, whatever. You could be getting all that from people without even realizing it. It can be very, very subtle at times, and sometimes it's people who have told you that you should listen to them. I've had that happen for sure. So during this 2026 and forever, continue to look at yourself, work on yourself, help yourself, and remember, make actionable steps. Just because you watch a video, if you don't do anything with the information from that video, it is completely useless. Don't have fake success. Don't have fake accomplishment, because you can feel accomplished from watching something but you haven't done anything, from reading something but you haven't done anything. You want to do stuff that is going to help you, like actually help you make progress in your life. You want to feel inspired, but do something based off of that inspiration and motivation. There's a lot of people that speak empty words, where it's like they make it seem like they're going to give you this groundbreaking information and that they're going to teach you like this crazy way of achieving it, and they don't. And it's very common on social media. I have ended up watching a lot of people like that, where in their videos you think, oh my gosh, they're going to give me such great information, and you watch it and they don't. Like, they speak very, very well, they conduct themselves very, very well, but there's no actual meaning in their words, and they give you this promise of information, this promise of knowledge, this promise of meaning, this promise of guidance, and they don't give you any of that. They give you motivation that will fade out and fizzle out quick, because they gave you nothing that you can do something with. They gave you hope, but with no information. They gave you a dream, but with no map. They gave you a desire, but with no guidance and no specification. So be careful of that, because there are influencers that do that. There are authors that do that. There are mentors that do that. There are speakers that do that. So all that to say, take action today. Don't binge watch. Don't binge read. Take action, and that is where you need to be. If you enjoyed today's video, please consider joining my Patreon. The link will be in the description below. Make sure to take care of yourself fully, physically, mentally, spiritually, and all the other ways, and continue your growth regardless of the year. It's never too late. Again, take care of yourself fully, and do it every single day. I will see you in the next one. Bye.